Sometimes, the hardest part of life isn't knowing what to do, it's believing. There is nothing you can do, no opportunity, no purpose, no way forward. Perhaps you've spoken to someone who feels trapped by their circumstances, not necessarily because they don't want to live, but because they can't imagine a different life. And that raises a difficult question. What if preventing despair isn't only about helping people survive, but helping them see a future worth moving towards? I've noticed this question in very different places, from conversations I've had with people who live in Uruguay, to communities closer to home, small towns, rural communities, places where young people sometimes leave because opportunities are limited, where businesses disappear, where services become harder to access, where isolation can quietly grow. But noticing a pattern isn't the same as understanding its cause. There are no simple explanations for why someone reaches a point of crisis. So perhaps the better question is, what happens when opportunity, connection, and hope become harder to find? What happens when someone looks at their future and simply can't see where they fit into it? Mental health matters enormously. But perhaps we also need to look beyond the individual, because people don't live in isolation. We live within families, communities, economies, cultures, and relationships. Financial pressure, unemployment, isolation, relationship breakdown, discrimination, loss, and lack of opportunity can all interact with someone's circumstances. But none of these can explain an individual person's experience on its own. Human suffering is complicated, and sometimes several difficulties arrive at once. Perhaps that's why we need more than one solution. This is where I think we need to ask a different question. Not simply, how do we fix the individual, but what possibilities can we create? Better education, retraining, meaningful employment, entrepreneurship, sport, art, nature, community, mentoring, volunteering, purpose, connection, and sometimes simply having someone who believes there might be another possibility. We shouldn't tell someone, just find your passion. Life isn't that simple. Sometimes people need stability first. Sometimes they need treatment. Sometimes they need financial support. Sometimes they need another person beside them. And sometimes They need an opportunity they didn't know existed. Perhaps this is where human flourishing gives us another way of thinking before someone can fully explore their potential. Basic needs matter: survival, food, shelter, healthcare, then stability, safety, employment, security, then connection, family, friendship, belonging, then confidence, skills, achievement, independence, and eventually becoming, purpose, creativity, contribution, meaning. Perhaps human flourishing isn't just about preventing people from falling through the floor. Perhaps it's also about giving them something to climb towards. Imagine if someone who felt trapped could suddenly see 3 possible paths, not 1, 3. Perhaps they could learn a new skill. Perhaps they could change their work. Perhaps they could start something small. Perhaps they could move. Perhaps they could reconnect with someone. Perhaps they could contribute to their community. None of these guarantees happiness, and none of them removes the complexity of human suffering. But possibility matters. Because when we believe there is only one path, and that path appears blocked, the world can become very small. But when another possibility appears, the future can begin to look different. This raises a much bigger question. What responsibility do we have? Not only to help people in crisis, but to build communities where people have reasons to hope. What if education helped people discover their potential? What if work provided more than income? What if communities were designed to reduce isolation? What if entrepreneurship created opportunity rather than simply wealth? What if technology gave people more freedom rather than simply demanding more of their attention? And what if progress wasn't measured only by how much we produce, but also by how many people have the opportunity to become who they are capable of becoming? We can't solve every form of human suffering. By creating opportunity, we can't remove grief, we can't remove illness, and we shouldn't pretend. That one philosophy can explain why any individual reaches a crisis point. But perhaps we can create more doors, more opportunities, more connections, more support, more reasons to believe tomorrow might be different from today. Because sometimes the first step towards hope isn't telling someone everything will be okay. Perhaps it's helping them see there might be another way. And perhaps that's part of what it means to build a society that helps people flourish. I came across a quote that I think captures part of what we're exploring here. It uses the metaphor of a radio. But I don't think changing your perspective magically solves suffering. Sometimes circumstances are genuinely difficult. Sometimes people need professional help, practical support, or simply someone beside them. But perhaps changing the way we see our possibilities can sometimes help us notice a path we couldn't see before.